So today's topic will start with SAS Array Processing. So if any one of you have any concept understanding about arrays, have heard anything about arrays?
No.
No? All right, no problem. So this is where we'll learn about SAS arrays. So what arrays are and how to use it. So most of the time arrays we use it along with to perform repetitive calculations. So how it works. So we'll understand what arrays is and how we can use it in repetitive calculations. That is, most of the time we use arrays hand in hand with doing. So what is arrays? So it's telling you can use arrays to simplify your programs that do the following. Either you perform repetitive calculations, create many variables with the same attributes. You can also use arrays to read data, compare variables, and perform table lookup. Now, what is table lookup? It's nothing but if you're looking up for one value from one table into another table, that is called as a table lookup. Okay, so what it is, we'll see it. So this is simple. We have already answered this question that you have no experience. All right. Now remember this data. This data is Orion.employee donations. You see, we have employee IDs and their donate contribution of donations in each quarter. So we know that this is the data set where employees are contributing, and at the same time, it's telling that Orion management is considering a 25% matching program to calculate each employee's quarterly contribution, including proposed company supplement. That means company is also contributing in every quarter 25%, and every individual is also contributing some amount which is not equal to 25%. So what they are telling, calculate each employee's quarterly contribution, including the proposed company supplement. So overall, what we do is normally we are writing the same statement of company as a whole and its 25% contribution for a year and every quarter contribution. So we are giving this statement, right? So if you see, it's the same calculation, but only your quarter number is changing. But the number of or the way of writing the calculation is the same, correct? So it's a repetitive statements which we are using for every quarter to get calculated. Now this is fine. This was for only 1 year. But what if we wanted to see the same thing for next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? So we cannot write every quarter value for every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years like this. Okay. So that is going to be very tedious coding. So to avoid this type of repetitive calculations, your tasks with which makes your arrays is going to, with the help of arrays, is going to make it more simple. So how it would be? So this is what it's telling. Now you know it's going to be a repetitive calculation, and we have got introduced that do loops used to solve your this type of questions simply, where you can avoid repetitive calculation, that the same calculation in a loop can be done 4 times, 5 times, or 6 times, or 10 times, or 20 times, or whatever times. But when you write this, or you are thinking of giving your 4 quarters starting to 4 in loops, that this particular repetitive statement has to be repeated 4 times, what statement you would write here? Why? Because it's not going to be a common statement, because your variables are changing, right? So you cannot use a common statement for 4 iterations. Are you getting me? What is this slide trying to tell you? Yes, Pragati, Meena?
Can you repeat, Ashwini, please?
Yeah, sure. Now look at this slide carefully. Now what are they trying to tell you with that question mark?
Okay.
Are you getting it? What are they telling you?
Yeah, because for first year there will be 4 quarters. In second year, the second year 4 quarters will be different from first year for
Yeah,
four
but
quarters.
now currently don't think of second year.
Only
Now
one
just
year.
think that even in this 1 year, we
Hmm.
have to calculate this 4 quarters contribution, including company's contribution.
Hmm.
So instead of writing 4 statements, why don't we put this into a loop? But into our loop, we know we use one single statement because we are avoiding repetitive calculation, correct?
Hmm.
But even do loop also, Ashwini,
Hmm.
as I remember, the
Hmm.
syntax was for year one, right? And then there is a
Hmm.
condition. Okay.
Hmm.
Then we want for year two, then year three, year four. So these are like different,
Correct. That is
right?
what it is telling. Correct. It's different. You have variable is changing here. It's quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. So how can you use, though this calculation is same, but within a loop, how can again you write quarter one equal to quarter one into 1.25? Again, you can write quarter two. It's not going to work here, right? So for 4 calculations, cannot be replaced by a single calculation inside a do loop. That's what it's telling you. They are not
No,
identical, right?
yeah.
So they are not
But my
identical.
question is, we did it before, right? In do loop,
No, no.
like,
Earlier, what we were doing, we were just simply writing year equal to 1 to 4, and it was a single calculation for that year.
Like
okay,
capital is equal to
okay,
capital.
okay, got it.
Got
Yes, yes,
it? You
yeah.
were not getting your variable separately.
Hmm.
Here we have
So,
every column quarter variable a different column. But the
hmm.
calculation is same for different columns. See, quarter 1 into 1.25, quarter 2 into 1.25, quarter 3 into 1.35. We want a single statement within a loop.
Hmm.
That single statement will repeat it 4 times within a
Correct,
loop.
correct.
Correct. But here we don't,
Hmm.
we how can we represent this statement as a single statement here?
Yeah, because every statement is different here.
Every variable is varying.
Hmm.
Correct. So
Yes.
in this type of example, hence array can be used for simplifying your coding. So if you are thinking of this, so if we go back and simply look into this again, see this? This is a single statement. See, is your year changing year one, year two, year three? Is the variable changing here? So it's only quarterly. We are not writing quarter one, quarter two, quarter three.
Yeah, yeah, same way, same
Yes,
way.
yes,
It's the same statement, but we were
yes.
doing it 4 times.
Yeah.
Correct.
Here we have different variables. It's in your data set, quarter one, quarter two. This is what it is. Quarter one, quarter two, quarter three. See, in your data set.
Hmm.
And for every quarter, you have employee contribution plus company's contribution.
Yeah.
So for this quarter, for one quarter, for this employee ID, it will be company contribution plus the employee contribution. For second quarter, company contribution plus employee contribution for all the information. So it's a separate column calculation separately. That's why we are writing it like this.
Yes.
Got it?
Hmm.
We know it's this repetitive calculation for separate columns. If you are trying to write it same thing in loop, how you will give the same thing for single column? Because it's not a single column, it's 4 columns on which we are doing the looping,
Hmm.
right? So this is
Yes.
going to make your task simple with arrays. So what we are going to do with arrays? Now arrays is actually nothing but grouping your columns and naming them with a name. That name we give it as array name. Alright, so it's telling an array provides an alternate way to access values in the PDB, which simplifies repetitive calculations. So instead of in your calculation giving quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 equal to, we are going to represent the whole thing as a name, as a grouping with this column as some name. Suppose we give a name as A. Okay. So that A, whatever when I value is 1, it will be A1, which will be quarter 1. So what it will do, see for example, we are grouping this all quarters 1, 2, 3, 4 with the name as contrib. Okay. So before this, it's telling what is an array. It's a temporary grouping of SAS variables that are arranged in particular order. So this is going to be only in the backend in the memory. It will not create any variable name separately that you are grouping this as columns. So it's temporary grouping that variables, giving a particular name in that specific order. Why order? Because your variables are in that order. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay. This is what it's telling. This variable sign specific order is identified with an array name. Must contain all numeric or character variable. That means when you're giving a temporary grouping of this columns naming some name, so this column times should be all either numeric or character. You cannot have mixed. So you cannot have mixed as suppose here you had name of an employee. So that name of employee cannot be grouped into this columns because these are all numeric. Exist only for the duration of your data step is not a variable. As we say, it's a temporary grouping. It's only in the backend. If we are not creating any variable, it's only during processing of your data that array is created. Once the data step execution is over, that array is removed from the memory. So understand why use an array. It's telling create an array. Suppose for example, you are grouping quarter 1, quarter 3, quarter 4 and giving its name as contrib. Okay. So within this contrib, we call every column as elements. So this becomes first element, second element, third element, fourth element. So when we are going to use it into array or in your looping, we are going to represent quarter 1 as contrib 1, quarter 2 as contrib 2, quarter 3 as contrib 3, and quarter 4 as contrib 4. So this becomes your array reference. Instead of naming as every column separately, we represent as array reference. So each element is identified as a subscript, which we write in curly brackets, or you can give it normal parenthesis also. So it indicates its position. So when it's contrib 1, it will indicate it's reading quarter 1. When we indicate in a program it's contrib 4, it will indicate to read quarter 4. Okay, so these numbers are subscript. So it's a identification of that column. Therefore, the column should be arranged in specific order, in the same order. So when you use an array reference, the corresponding value is substituted for that reference. So when I use as contrib 1, that means it's quarter 1. When I use in my program is contrib 2, that means it's quarter 2 and so on. So these are called as elements in your array. And this is your subscripts. Okay. Now how you define this? You have a syntax. So when you write a program to define array in the syntax, we write the syntax as array, give the array name, you give how many subscripts you have, that means how many columns you are specifying into that array. In case if it's character variable, give its dollar and give its length. It's optional. This is we'll see later, and give how many elements you have or what are those elements. So this is the subscript. This is the name of your contrib, which is array name. So name of that array is contrib. How many elements it has? It has 4 elements. Hence this is its subscript. And what are those elements? Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So this will be in your programming will represent as this one. Understood this array syntax?
This will be created in that different bracket. The bracket is
No. this bracket, either you give it like this, or you give curly brackets, or you give your normal bracket, that is also fine.
Bracket.
That's right, because first time we saw this kind of bracket used here, no? So I was
Yeah. So it's telling array statement, make a note. It's very important. Array, this statement when you write in your program, this statement is actually going to create this array at the time of compilation of your data step. It's not during your execution phase. Why? Because execution means it will start putting the values. That is execution phase. Whereas compilation means it is preparing what is needed for execution. Now, when we actually process your data step, or when we submit this data step in the backend, you know there are two phases, compilation and execution. Now, what is compilation? It actually jots down as per what instructions you have given in your data step, what is going to be needed. Hence, accordingly, it creates PDB. Accordingly, the descriptive portion is created. Accordingly, as per your assignment statement, the new variable is created, its type is created, its length is given. Correct. So you can compare this compilation phase like if you are into a task of cooking. In case you are cooking a specific dish. So whatever the dish would be. So either it is a dish of preparing some rice, either it's a pulao or either it's a biryani or whatever. So you never directly put the rice and the onions together and start cooking, correct? What you do is you jot down the things. You take the rice, you soak it into water, then you prepare the masala for it. So what are you doing? You're compiling the things. And then once the things, whatever is needed, you have compiled it, then you start executing to cook your pulao. First thing is you switch on your gas, put a vessel into it, then you put a oil, you wait until that oil is getting heated, and then you start putting actually every ingredient, and that is what is the execution phase. And the sorry, end product is your dish is created, correct? So that is how in your data step in the backend compilation and execution works. So when array statement is ready within your data step, this array statement is actually been, or it is been going to create the array at the time of compilation phase. So it is not an execution type of statement. Okay, so that's what it's trying to tell. Array statement is compile time statement that defines the elements in array. Okay, that means when this statement is read during compilation, when the PDB is created, this is how it jots down the array subscripts with its elements for every column. All right. So this is where we call it as, in case if you do not know how many columns you are going to give it, you can also write the number of columns, or you can give directly asterisk. So this will take care depending how many elements you are providing here. So this is also one way of defining your array statements with subscript. So an alternate syntax uses an asterisk instead of a subscript. SAS determines the subscript by counting the variable in the element list. So element list must be included. Either you give this quarter because this prefix is the same. So you give this quarter with colon and give its number of that you do not know how many elements may be. So simply in your data step or in your data set, depending on how many columns this QTR is common, that will be treated as elements and that will be treated with the subscript. Okay. Now look at it. So defining an array, variables that are elements of an array do not need the following. What? To have similar related or numbered names. So it's not necessary it is QTR1, QTR2, QTR3. It could be like Q1, it could be Q2, it could be third quarter like this, it could be fourth quarter like this. But when you are defining it, you define in this order that it is Q1, Q2, third quarter like this, fourth quarter like this. You define here in the order, let the order in your data step anywhere. Okay, and see to it that the columns are separated by space. And you give this asterisk depending on how many columns you have mentioned here, the number of subscript it will take care. So
Why
it's
it's not
not,
taking, why it's not
yes,
taking total?
because total is not the part of quarters.
Okay, okay.
Getting it?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not necessary that the columns in your data should be sequentially placed or adjacent to be placed, but while defining, you define in this order. Okay, let the column names should be different. So it's not necessary, it should be the same name columns as like this. Okay. Okay. So they are asking you, if you open this activity, now open this activity A04 for this lesson, submit it and check your log.
Getting error.
What is the error?
Just check. First, let me run. Leave me.
Yes, yes, yes.
Too many variable defines for the dimensions specified for array
So
country.
why is giving this message?
Too many variable defines. See.
Maybe it's just 4 quarters and we have mentioned 5 in the second one.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. In even first one also, it's quarter 1 to 4, and we mentioned 3.
Yes. So understand the difference in both the error message. Here it's telling too many elements defined. Here it's telling two less error elements defined. Why? Because subscript here you have 5, whereas here you are telling quarter 4. So 5 means it's 10, taking as there is 5 elements here, but in your data you have only 4 elements of quarters. Are you getting the difference in the error message?
Yeah, it's more.
So you need to understand what that error message is actually describing.
And in first statement, it's taking less, right?
Yes. Just a second. Please hold on. I'll just open up my.
Instead of, we can use asterisk. That is the best. Right? What will happen if we use
So you
asterisk?
can go ahead and correct it.
Yeah. Yes. When I use asterisk, it's showing
Mhm.
correct. I'm not getting any
Absolutely.
error.
Hmm. So what are you getting more?
Sorry. What did you ask, Sachin?
No, I was asking that what are you able to see there?
I can see table, and in log window there were 124 observation rate from the data set
Hmm. Hmm.
and 5 variables.
Correct.
But
And I got that output data.
in some output, there is a period.
Yeah, it's a missing value there, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
But
So
it
why
is
you're getting that missing value?
for
Because in
first.
your data for your quarters itself, first quarter contribution is not there for one of the
Yeah, that's
employer,
why. Correct.
right?
Yes. Only on first observation, only on fourth quarter, they contributes. That's why
No, no,
they
down
it's
other
showing.
variables also, other lines also I'm saying. So maybe they don't have in the data.
Correct. In your data itself, you may not
They
have.
didn't wherever they didn't contribute, it's showing missing value, right?
Absolutely. Just few seconds, and actually I'm connecting to my studio.
Okay.
So we work on it now. So it's our activity number 4, correct? Before working on it,
Yes,
let
AO4.
me first connect to our library also. So I just close all these previous sessions windows of our core of groups. Come to my library. For us. Alright, so library is created. So within PG2, it's for your lesson 7, activity A04. Alright, so simply execute your data step. So we get errors. So if you understand the errors, so there are 2 errors. So your first array statement, we have defined the subscripts are 3, but the elements are 4. So it's telling too many variables defined for the dimensions specified in array contrib 1. So for this contrib 1 dimensions, that means subscript you are giving only 3, but number of columns specifying is 4. Hence, too many columns. In short, too many variables for this subscript. Whereas for this array statement, you are telling subscript is 5 and quarter is colon. Colon indicates depending from your input data, this QTR, we have only 4 QTR type of columns. Correct. So the columns are 4, but the subscript is 5. Hence, it's telling too few variables. Too few variables defined in your dimensions. Why? Because for this subscript in the data, it is only 4 columns per quarter. Therefore, for this subscript or for this dimension, too few variables. So either what you can do is go back, correct this to 4.
I did
That's it.
asterisk instead of that,
Whatever.
so
Either you give your asterisk or earlier you give it as 4. Any one which will do. Now, when you execute this, when you see the output, the output will get the columns as it is. There is nothing which we have done anything further in your code. It is just about defining array. Now, why can't you see this into your output? Because we know this statement is compile time statement. This combination or this contrib 4 or this contrib 1 and contrib 2 is going to be in the backend only during compilation. It will be created. It's not creating a column into your PDB also. In case even if you see as with your put log underscore all underscore, you are not going to see the contrib 1 and contrib 2 as columns created in your PDB because this is Not at all columns for your PDB. It's only temporary groupage. It is happening in the backend. It's a logical grouping. That's it. If I see this, it's all the columns from your table or your assignment statements. You never see anyway contrib 1, contrib 2. So it's temporary grouping. It's only during compilation and not during execution. Understood now?
So it is not creating a separate variable.
It is not going to create because it is not an assignment statement to create a variable. It's just temporary. It's just for our logic of understanding or for our logic of programming that these columns are grouped and we are giving a common name on that group columns which will represent as contrib 1, contrib
So in
2.
okay.
Yes.
So in working place, actually, when we
How
can
we'll
use
do
this
it?
array?
Yes, how we'll do it? See, we'll see it into our next slide. Now, coming back to our program, so we just understood how it gives you the information if you give this type of instruction. That means too little or too few columns defined, but subscript is high, or subscript is low and columns are more, how it gives the error. Okay, that's it. And look into your program now, how you are writing it. So you are writing do I equal to 1 to 4. And what are you doing? Contrib I is equal to contrib I into 1.25. So you use array along with do. That means when contrib I, that means when I value is 1 in the loop, it will be contrib 1. Contrib 1 means indirectly it's quarter 1. So it's quarter 1 into 1.25. Then when I value is 2, it will be contrib I, that means contrib 2. Contrib 2 means it will represent quarter 2. Getting it now? So this is how we reference in our program. So to reference
I
an
have
element,
one question.
yes.
So before exercise, the activity which we did. So here, suppose if we want a separate column name total and quarter 1, quarter 4 total should be there. So can we use that total variable, create a new variable here in this?
Yes, you can write.
Because I was trying
quarter
it
1
was
to
not coming. So that's
okay,
why.
so what he was trying? Let me check.
Total, I was creating new variable total, and
So
some I was
you are
giving.
adding your total as a column.
Down. No, down when we are creating
Naveen, new column
variable.
she is created.
Total,
What
yeah.
is total?
And is equal to sum a quarter in bracket quarter 1, quarter 4. That I was trying to do.
So it will be sum of your.
Oh, okay. Off.
Two.
I forgot.
Because otherwise it will do subtraction.
No, it was
Yes.
not creating at all. It was not
It was
creating
not
at all.
creating. Okay.
When I don't give off, so it was not creating. That T is there after quarter 4. T is there.
Not corrected.
Too many.
I did not correct something.
First array T after quarter 4.
Your T. Sorry. Yes. I did not include in my keep statements. Do we have keep here? Yes. Total.
Yeah, right, total. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. That's why maybe I was not getting also because I also didn't know.
Because we have used keep. We have selected the columns to see into the output. So now I get the total. Now because this total I get 25i because first 3 quarters are not contributed. It's only in the 4th quarter. It's going 25. Here it's all for 4 quarters is 15, 15. So it's 60.
Yeah.
So here it's 20, 20, 40, 20, 60, 20, 80. So here it's 80.
Oh, now I used I changed it to keep total, and I didn't use off. Still, it is working. Right.
It's giving you what? You have used only what columns? Which columns you have used?
No, I kept total now. In the keep, I added total.
No. Here in some statement, which columns you have used?
Some just a minute. Some
Okay, share me your
quarter 4.
No. Share me your screen.
Yeah.
You used plus sign, right?
Yeah, plus sign.
That will work.
But off I didn't. Yeah, that's what off I didn't use. I
Of
just
why you are not using? Because you have not given hyphen
given
na,
this.
instead
Yeah,
of plus sign. Now give hyphen. Hyphen. Now submit it. Check your
Yeah,
output
it's not
for your
coming.
total.
Yeah.
What is giving you? It's giving subtraction.
Subtraction. Yeah.
Getting it?
Hmm.
Some will ignore missing value. But because it's taking it as quarter 1 minus quarter 4.
Right.
It's like small quarter minus big quarter. That is why you're
And
getting
here
that output.
also, then this output also like quarter 1 plus quarter 4 only, right?
No, all.
She's using all. It's quarter. Understand. It's
Correct?
quarter 1 plus quarter 4. It's
So
not all
only
the
2.
quarters. It will work only with quarter
See,
1
Yeah,
plus
yeah,
quarter
right.
it's
4.
not coming.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That
why
is,
we have to use.
that's why, that's
Off.
why you
Some
will
off.
give either off and give this quarters with a range.
Or otherwise, we can use quarter and semicolon also here. No.
Yes, you can give that also. But I think we worked out last time. With off, it's not working. Remove that one.
Working.
Remove that one.
One. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's working.
It's coming.
It's coming, then it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. For it. Let's move ahead. So we will go. Alright, so it's a temporary grouping of your variables which happens during compilation. So no new variable is created in your PDB. So that's what your slide was also telling. How we'll use it in your program? So we use it with purely from history. So to reference an element, the index variable is often used as a subscript. So to reference the elements within this I, which is of your do loop. So this when I value is 1, it will be I means here it will take contrib 1. That means contrib 1. So contrib 1 means indirectly quarter 1. So that's what it's telling. In the loop, when I is 1, it will be representing contrib 1 into 1.25, which is equivalent to quarter 1 equal to quarter 1 into 25. When I is 2, so contrib 2, that means quarter 2. When I is 3, same thing. And when I is 4, same thing. So that is why you are avoiding repetitive coding, and this makes your task simple with time. Okay. Right? So try this code into your program. Type this and execute it.
Can you put it in the chat?
It's very simple. What we can do is with the same data. Donations, yes. So what you can do is keep this as it is. I use it as contrib. Okay. I write I equal to 1 to 4 because we have 4 quarters, and for every 4 quarter we have to contribute or we have to calculate its rate of interest. Compare it with your company. Correct. So whenever it's contrib with your I value. No, I was explaining it will be contrib again with your I into
Multiply by
1.0.25. Correct?
Not 1.0.25.
It's 1.25.
1.25.
So it's 25%. Correct? Okay, so let this be as it is. We execute. this is what it is. Every quarter it is calculating this is the total. So when you check your log, because we have used put log statement, this is from your data sets, the columns. Okay, this is where we have I coming. Why? Because it's a do loop statement. I is a variable which is created in PDB. This is the value for your paid by column. So paid by is a column in your data which is cash or check. So in case if you want to verify that data set, let's
But in
check
first
your
line only, why we are getting I is equal to 5? It should be 1, right?
no, because it's working for all the four kind of quarters now in one statement. It's within
Plus
this.
1 it will come, na? Plus 1. It is always.
It's what is happening when I is 1. It will go into this.
4
When
quarters.
it comes
Correct.
to end, yeah, I will get increment to 2. So
Two,
again for
correct.
second quarter, it will work in the same data step for the same observation. So when I value is 3, it will be contrib 3. When it comes to end, your I will increment to 4.
4.
So when
Correct.
it is
That's
contrib
why I
4,
got
it
it.
will work to quarter 4. So that means it will work for this value. And when it comes to end, your I will by default get incremented to 5. It will check, is it
Okay.
within the range? No. Hence,
No.
it will come outside the loop. So the value is still for
Okay.
quarter 4. So this
Got
is
it.
outside the range.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes. Let me
That's why
try
we get that.
And if we give that output, then we will not get that 5 in output.
Correct. So if we write for every quarter, you want to see the separate line, separate output, you will be able to write an output statement before your end. So see, these are the original column. So this is column recipient. This is column paid by, which are character. Hence, when you see this processing, we get paid by. This is the value. This is the variable I, which is adding to your PDB, and this is your total where we have used as a sum. So in case if you want to see for every quarter a separate output, simply before your output statement, this process for first 10 observations. For every 4 quarters now you will get separate outputs. So it will be a huge result. See?
First quarter, all missing values. Yeah.
Now what I will do is I will include I also. So when I1, I2, I3, because here is only one contribution, it's like this. I4, it's the total. Correct. So when I1 is the I2, I3, this is what is coming. When you check your log, this is what it will show you. Of course, in PDB, it's going to be the same, but because of your output statement, in output, you get the separate I value. You're not getting 5. Getting
But
it
in
now.
output, we are getting that value on 4th position. But in our put log, it's showing 5th.
Because put log is what? It's your PDB processing, right?
Yes.
So the PDB will not show 5 times PDBs running. It's the one column only. In the slide, if you remember, how PDB looks like this.
Yeah.
In PDB, only I value will keep on incrementing. Correct?
Hmm.
So that's why you see that way in PDB. All right?
Can you show that syntax again? Oh, why which we wanted to try
This
that.
way. This syntax.
Oh,
You can check my code otherwise. This is the code.
Give me the code. Because I am getting in I only 5, 5.
Just a second. I'll copy this. I'm giving you your chat box, so you can take this code right up.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, so in my syntax which I wrote, I was not giving the output, so it was just showing the I in I column fifth 5 line only, 5. That's it.
Okay, so now you understood where you was not giving a output statement, correct?
Yeah.
But with this code, I hope now you get it.
Yeah, I got it. But so if we don't give output also, yeah, then it will overwrite on that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the last one. Yeah, got it.
Got it. All right. So let's
Just
move
2
on
minutes,
here.
Ashwini. Let me try. I'm just trying. Just 2 minutes.
Yes, yes.
I tried normal bracket, Ashwini, in for I. I don't know. I'm getting error.
What error you're giving? I'll just share your screen with me.
But
And
I did with normal only, Pragati. It worked.
contrib, I don't know.
No,
Okay,
there
I'm
might be
sharing
some
my screen.
syntax text. Just share
Might
your
be. Yeah.
share your screen.
This one. What I did wrong.
Okay. Okay, so while defining your contrib in this array now, remove that curly brackets and give the normal brackets.
No, she has contrib 1 above, and here just contrib she gave. So
So don't write 1, write I instead of 1.
above array
Correct,
contrib.
correct.
One
Yeah.
will tell no
Sorry.
I give I, and I'll tell you what is also missing.
And above or
And above, when you are giving this array statement, you are writing contrib 1. But
One,
while defining here, you are writing only contrib.
But you did
Remove that
also
one.
same thing, no? I
No,
think.
no, I removed 1.
Oh. So I had to remove this one, you're saying.
This, now you submit.
Yes.
Check your log. Any errors?
No any error.
in your output, I is not there, Pragati. I think you didn't keep.
Yeah, because I
she did
didn't
not select.
mention.
Yeah, she did not mention
I
the
have to
select
keep
statement.
yeah, I in case. So I stopped sharing.
Yes, no problem. Just a second.
Okay.
So now we were with the program here, same as your steps. And we have the exercise. Now we've already taken one demo of it. Okay. So
I have just one
what?
query in
Yeah.
this. Like if we gave array contrib and in bracket 4, and suppose if we just give array in bracket 4, don't give any name instead of contrib, just 4 we mention, so it will
Fine.
work.
I'll answer your question in this coming topic
Okay.
using SAS arrays. Okay, so coming again, let's try it out what you are also trying to tell you. So for example, let this be as it is, okay? So now what I will do is, I'll simply remove this. I'll remove this also. Fine. So the name I'm giving it is as contrib 2.
2.
I give here 4. Instead of contrib, let it, I give it as ABC. Fine.
Mhm.
I execute my data step.
Oh, so your question is why we're using contrib word?
No, she was telling that in case I am or she is giving this statement about creating array, writing array statement, writing your array name and just giving the subscript. And she's not
Okay.
specifying any elements. What will happen? That is what her question was. So what happens is I simply remove this. So I execute my code again. I don't know this also takes time.
But down we mentioned contrib na, in the syntax, so it will work still. Mm.
We're not getting any values.
No, what it's doing?
But the name it is
This
changed na. Instead
What
of
it's
quarter
doing?
one, it is ABC1,
ABC1.
ABC2.
No, it's not quarter one. What it is doing is when you are defining an array, you
Array.
give an array name and give subscript. It will create variables for us in the output data set, giving the name of the variable as ABC1,
1.
ABC2, ABC3, ABC4. That is what you get
And
the
if we
4 columns created. Now,
yeah,
how
and
to
if
use these columns and how we'll see in upcoming topic. That is what our topic is. Yes, tell me.
no, if we under that do line, instead of contrib, if we use ABC, then it will work. It will give the value of ABC.
No, because ABC you are not defining on any columns. But what if you'll do here? Okay, if you're telling that, because you have, fine, let me check it. What
Yeah.
are you telling? A, B, C. You are telling it to be I.
You're saying like that?
No,
Yeah.
I is equal to I
Instead of I, you're
I equal
saying you have
to,
to use AB.
yes, she is telling A, B, C.
C in bracket
Again
I
into bracket I. And it is into
1.25. Let's say whatever.
1.25. So what I'll do is I'll simply comment this out. Okay, let me comment this out.
Colon missing.
Sorry, just a second. Let it run back. So I do it in this way. I execute it. So when we check here, see what it's giving? Nothing, because we have not specified any elements for it. So how can it perform the calculation? All right. Okay, so let's move ahead. This is what it is using SAS array. So objective here is use arrays as arguments. To use arrays as arguments to SAS functions. So we are seeing it that how to use arrays. So you can use as arguments as SAS function. You can use array to explain functions. You can use arrays to create new variables and perform a lookup or table lookup. So if you'll check here, now look at here. You are doing total. Normally we use it like this. sum of all your quarters. Okay, now we have already created array on this quarters as val. So instead of writing your columns, you can also write sum of all your arrays with asterisk. So using it within a function. Understood? Output is the same. Either you write sum of all your quarters or you write sum of your array name with its subscript. Understood? So it's defining val is an array. Are you getting at this?
Yeah, little bit.
No, just compare this. Normally, what are we doing? Total one. It is sum
Yes.
of all your quarters. Now, what is, we are doing the same thing, but
Hmm.
instead of writing quarters separately, instead of quarter, we have already defined it as array.
Correct.
So instead of writing quarter one to quarter four, we write off of your array.
Correct. Mhm.
That's it. So they're telling you can use
Same
this
thing
program
I
to pass
tried.
an array to your functions.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay, you can use it in this way also. Array is passed as if it's a variable list. Okay, same like this. Fine. Then second function is you have an array function called dim. Now look at here. Normally we write do I equal to 1 to 4. Correct? This is what we have written earlier. But
Yes.
when you have defined your array, you had defined the array as asterisk for your quarter colon. Why we have given colon? Because we do not know how many quarters we are defining in your data. Correct? An
Yeah.
asterisk
So Ashwini, I
defines.
have one question. Like every time we don't need to use contrib. Instead of contrib, we can use any name.
That's what the example I had given here. In my
ABCD.
program, I had used ABC.
Correct.
You can write XYZ.
Oh, so
But
any name.
but here they have given this name, which is going to make some sense on our columns so that we don't get confused later on while writing the program.
Okay. But we can change that name, right?
Yes, you can give this name
Okay.
as, suppose if you want, you can give this name as all QTR. Simple.
Okay.
All right. And I
Anyways,
use
it will
this.
not execute. It will
It is not going
compilation
to be
process.
create as a new variable.
Correct.
So here
Suddenly.
also I may write all QTR. Just comment this out. I'll remove this comments. I execute.
Oh, what I was thinking before? It's a syntax. It's like a rule that when you use an array, you have to use contrib. I thought before.
No. It's an array name. You're
Okay.
giving name where you're creating this as an array. You are giving this
Okay.
as a name for your array. And this array will be all quarter one, all quarter two on your columns.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So I'm using this here. I'm using this
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
So to make a correlation on this, just we'll go to our one of the exercise. Okay, so I'll show you that exercise. So, so you can you will be reading. Please go through this notes, okay, which I have given into your PDF. Sorry. All right. So this is very useful and helpful. So let's work on this exercise. It's telling using arrays for repetitive computations. So monthly customer order data for the first half of the year is stored in this data set called orders mid-year. So we have customer IDs and they are first 6 months, whatever transaction with your organization. So Orient Star sales manager is considering a 5% price decrease next year. So the manager wants to see how such a discount would affect this year's income. So it's telling create a data set discount sales to reflect the 5% discount. Create an array called MON. See, on this columns. So it's making sense that on this columns, month 1, month 2 till month 6, MON, it's a logical name for this columns. Use a do loop to adjust each customer's monthly data. Apply this 5% discount. So this is what it is. Are you getting it now? So this
Yes,
is
yes.
the name of the array which will be
Array.
creating. That's so it is going to be logically understanding that we are making it on this column. So it's not compulsion give the same name as they have given, but see to it that you are giving a logical name which is understood, because the code which you will be writing it, it's not necessary it will be you, the data analyst will be using throughout your whatever work or processes. It may be that you will work on the particular project now, you are writing this code and saving it, but later on you may have some new person working on the same project, so he may use this code. So there should be some understanding, correct,
Yes.
for him also. Or even if you are sending this code for evaluation to your managers or to some other person, they should correlate what this array name is.
Okay.
So it's just that way to make it logically understand that it's a name on these columns. That's it. All right. So this was all about. But do you really think we should go? I think we should work on this exercise so that you get some idea. Or we should move ahead. What do you think?
At least, yeah, we can work on this at least one exercise. We'll try
Yes, we
level 2
should
and
work. Yes, we should
challenge.
work actually. Just a second.
So data.
We were here. Exercise 5, level 1, using arrays for repetitive calculation. Monthly customer data is there. So what they are telling us is the Orient Star sales manager is considering a 5% price decrease next year. The manager wants to see how much discount would affect this year's income. So we have to give 5% discount. So create a dataset discount says to reflect 5% discount on every month. So we'll have to create an array, use a loop for applying this discount. So moving back, so let's create data discount sales where it is set Orion dot orders media. So it is orders underscore media. Orders underscore media. Okay. Let's create an array. And we have 6 months. All on your months. So let us make it in this way. Okay. So do I equal to 6.
But they ask for only 3 months, right? Or is it
They have
correct?
asked for 3 months.
I think so. Do loop is adjust each customer monthly data, right? Access
Create a data
month
set
1 through
discount.
month 3.
So what it is telling?
Oh.
Where it is specified.
No. Yes, you're correct. I was went to level 2 actually.
Achha, no problem.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So moving back here. So here, select your month I is equal to is your month I It's 5% discount, 0.95. Correct?
I can't say anything.
Discount will be minus 5%.
Yeah, because there's a
It's
decrease,
a
right?
percent.
Yeah, but minus
But 5% price decrease next year, no? Not increase.
So
1.05,
means that means 0.95 because you're removing from 100% 5%.
Yes, correct.
From 100% you're removing 5%. Correct?
Okay.
So what is discounts? Is this the values? Okay, so what are they telling? Use Hulu to adjust his month's data with 5% print to appropriate title dollar. So this is 8.2, 10.2, 10.2. Let's give this a format. Okay, they're telling you
Or
format.
can we write format month colon?
Yes,
Can
that
it
is
work?
also possible. Yes, we'll write here as one second. We'll just try this.
Hmm.
So this is what you see. Either you write this way. Will that work here? Okay, let's check. It's working.
Yeah, it's working. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this message is coming because in data we do have missing values in the column itself. Hence it's telling in case if any operations is happening on missing value, the result is missing. That's it. Nothing much. But the result is the same. All right.
Yes.
So we are doing into a whole value is 100%. Out of 100%, they are giving discount of 5%. So remaining value is 0.95. That is 95%. Getting it? Fine.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So this is how you can work on this score. Do you want me to give you the score?
Yeah, I already tried it.
You tried it?
Yes, it's a simple one, right? It's not too big.
I thought.
I did same. Yes.
This was about, okay, so we were about using this. I think using arrays now we'll take it next time because it will be too heavy topic for you.
Essay is 12:15 here.
So using arrays we'll do it on Monday. Any questions up
Okay.
till now?
No, I
No?
don't have.
Meena?
Just I was trying this. I was getting some error. Syntax error I was getting.
What is that error?
Just a minute. Yeah, can I share my screen?
Second, 1 second. Yeah, sharing the screen. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So
What is the
here,
error?
here, just a minute. This one.
It's a syntax error. Now, array you cannot use this way. Equal to sign. It's not an assignment statement.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I also did same thing
Ah,
before.
it's not an assignment statement.
Yeah.
Correct.
Then I checked.
Because you are giving it as a syntax to create an array. It's simple statement. Again, you have an error. Okay. Where is the error? There is missing semicolon with your do loop statement.
With the
After 6, do I equal to 1 to 6? There is no
okay, yeah.
semicolon.
Yeah.
That's what I was checking, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, sometimes the simple things we could not find sometimes.
This perfection comes only with when your eyes have
Practice.
no, when your eyes, of course, practice is there. It's going to be a common
More
word
conscious.
every
Yeah.
time. Yes, it's your
Hmm.
eyes is not in that habit of looking the code.
Correct.
Your eyes is
Correct.
not in that habit of capturing that
Hmm.
actual thing, because you never use it regularly, correct?
Right. And the
You may
habit
not
will
even
comes
work regularly. Yeah, your eyes
with
is not into
practices.
that habit. Yes, of course, indirectly you need practice.
Practice.
Yes. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So with this, what we'll do is we'll stop for the day. But I would request
Hmm.
you to please practice this do loops arrays, and we'll see use
Yeah,
of
we'll
arrays.
try level 2 and challenge.
Sure. And we'll you just go through the slides for use of arrays, and we'll discuss it on
Okay.
Monday using arrays. Of course,
Okay,
we'll see
coming
the slides,
on
but
coming topic you're saying, or which
yes,
already we did it?
coming topic, use of
Okay.
arrays. That means I was talking
Sure.
about this, the one which we had started using arrays. So this you already have in your PDF, sorry. So I will ask you
Yeah.
to, it's like your home self-study. Just go through the slides, understand what are they trying to tell you. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, we'll do this in your upcoming class.
Okay.
Okay, so just go through the
Yes.
slides. Understand
Sure.
what are they trying to explain. Of course, if you don't understand, I'm always there. Just go through this concept.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right, then see you on Monday. Enjoy your
Yes.
weekend.
You too.
Just before shutting down,